Alright, so this is looking just a touch unfinished to me, so I'm going to go in with a little bit of brown watercolor to kind of finish things off, and probably leave it at that. I'm not going to make this a highly detailed illustration. This is maybe typical of when people are trying to create a new character and they don't know exactly what the character is going to look like yet. They're kind of keeping things loose. And so I'm going in with just a brown here to add a little more three-dimensionality. I'll say a word about the tools that I've been using up until now. The first, the pencils that you see are colored pencils, Prismacolors. I started with a brown, and then I believe after that I went in with soft pastel, which is a lot like chalk. Don't try to get these effects with oil pastel. Those things they're sort of greasy, and they don't produce these sort of effects. I mean, not to say that you shouldn't use oil pastels. You can do great stuff with oil pastel, but what I was using was a soft pastel. In any case, I used maybe 2 or 3 different colors of oil pastel there. And beyond that, I went back in with black colored pencil, again Prismacolor, which you can see in a lot of my videos, just to tighten up the lines. And the watercolors I'm using here are, I think, Grumbacher. I've never been a real snob about watercolors. I generally, honestly, just go to an art store, quality art store, and go to their watercolor section. Any tubes of paint that I can afford, that's what I'll go for. I mean, I don't feel like blowing more than $5, say, on one tube of paint. But, serious watercolor people obviously will spend considerably more than that. In any case, I think I'm near the end of this, but I want to do one last thing, and it's a little late for me to point this out, but this whole illustration was done on a sheet of kind of brownish paper, off-white, maybe you could call it. And that is going to allow me to do my next little trick here. Hang on, I'm going to pause just to set things up. Okay, what I've got here is Winsor Newton Designer's Gouache, zinc white, and watercolor brush. And I'm just going to go in here and keeping it fairly thick and opaque. Gouache is really opaque watercolor, really thick, so you don't see through it. And get this nice and thick, and then I'm going to go in, and like I said, because this is not white paper, this stuff shows up really well against the kind of light brown of the paper itself. And so this is a little trick. I had done this before in my ill-fated Inuyasha video that I had to pull down because, or it got pulled down really because of copyright complaint, and put me on the straight and narrow of only doing videos featuring my own characters. In any case, I had shown this technique in that video, and it occurred to me, hey, anyone who can't see that video is missing out on this technique. So here I am doing it again. It's kind of a cool illustrator's technique for making things really pop. You start with a piece of paper that's not white. Probably don't want to go too dark, get a light pale color of any kind, and you can pull off this little trick here. So I'm using it mainly for the eyes, and watch this because this is such a simple trick, but it does help a lot, and that is to put in this nice white highlight here. I'm not going to overdo it. I mean, the main thing is to get it to really pop. I'm going to keep it small though, and then go and make another one over here. And then you get, you get kind of intense looking eyes there. Maybe a little too intense. In any case, I'm going to use this white to add a little bit of sunlight or whatever is hitting him on this side of the head. Maybe put a little touch here on the side of the ears and the neck. And maybe the last thing I'm going to do is do the hair highlight. This maybe goes without saying, but make sure you're consistent if you're going to do this thing. Put all your whites on one side of the face. Even the dot, that of the eye has got to be on this side. It can't be over here, because that's sort of going against the source of light that you're imagining is there. So having got these kind of little highlights in here, I think the last thing I'm going to do is drop in the hair highlights with the brush. The paint is quite thick at this stage, so it sort of breaks into lines fairly easily. And, one of the tricks is always knowing when to stop, Illustrators will always tell you that you sort of wonder, boy, am I overworking this? Am I going to kill this drawing by going too far? So you always have to kind of stop and pause and say, hey, you know what, maybe that's enough. Well, speaking of maybe that's enough, I think that's probably all the time I have for this video. And thanks so much for watching it. As always, these videos are brought to you by Miki Falls, my manga series. In the stores right now. Always have to throw that in case this is the first video of mine that you've seen. If you want more info about it, please check out my channel here on YouTube. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching the video. I'll be back with another one. That one about the drawing backgrounds video probably will be my next one, and we'll be doing that real soon. Thanks again for watching.